Good morning, everybody. My name is Kirk Eller, and welcome to the CalTAP Exploring California Community Colleges webinar in partnership with Sierra College. My name is Kirk Eller. I am a CalTAP training coordinator here at the California Department of Veteran Affairs. We thank you for joining us this morning, and hopefully we'll have a really good webinar to provide you some information on community colleges. First, I'd like to go over some housekeeping items so that we can all not be distracted through the webinar. We ask that you please keep your video and your microphone on mute and your video off so that you're not distracting other people that are listening to the presenters. And also it keeps our bandwidth up so we don't have any disruptions or pauses in the middle of the video. This webinar will be recorded and we will be posting it on our website at a later date. If you check back with our webinar, archived webinars, you should see when it's posted. Our agenda today is we're going to cover some of the California specific benefits that CalVet provides here to veterans in California. I'll be doing the overview for that. And then we're going to follow up with our local interagency network coordinator, Marlene Steinbeck, who is our CalVet link from the Inland Empire, and she's going to provide some information on what she does and how she provides resources to dependents and families as well as veterans. And then following Marlene is Daniel Avogalio, and he is the Director of Veteran Services for the Sierra College Veterans Resource Center at Sierra College here in the Rockland area. He's going to provide an overview of community colleges and the landscape throughout California, how to apply and how to transfer your credits to a university, and also benefits for veterans, and then some financial aid resources. Following Daniel, we have my colleague, Jana Adams, another training coordinator here at CalTAP, and she's going to be covering our CalTAP education pathway. And then following all of this, we are going to end up with a virtual Q&A where you can ask questions, and we will direct them to the subject matter expert to provide answers. And speaking of the questions, if you have questions throughout this webinar, we ask that you please post them in the chat. The chat function, if you're not familiar with it, on the toolbar, you'll see the little bubble there that says chat. If you click on that link, it'll open up the window and you can type into CalTAP questions, where Jana is hosting, and she will respond back and direct the question to the subject matter expert. And here is a picture of the chat in the toolbar. It's highlighted here in the red box, and that is the chat function. I'm sure everybody is well versed in the Zoom functions throughout this last year, so that shouldn't be a problem today. So like I said, my name is Kirk Eller. I am a training coordinator here at CalTAP for the California Department of Veteran Affairs, and I'm going to provide the overview of what your California specific benefits are. A little background on myself. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I served from 1986 to 1990, was stationed here in California and did 2 tours overseas in the Far East, in Japan and Korea and Philippines. I was a helicopter crew chief on CH-53s. And when I got out of the Marine Corps, I started to use my education benefits, but I never finished using them. And then ended up recently using the Chapter 31 vocational rehab or veteran readiness and employment now to complete my degree. And now I've been here at the California Department of Veteran Affairs for a little over 2 years now. So I'd like to talk about what the CalTAP program is. The CalTAP program was designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras to their earned federal and state benefits, and then also provide continued support and assistance as those needs change over time. And how we do that is through our 5 pathways. And our 5 pathways are the core curriculum, education, employment, entrepreneurship, and then there's a 5th pathway for service providers for those that want to do work with veterans. This is a picture, a snapshot of what our Veterans Resource Book looks like. This is a great resource. I highly encourage you to download a copy of this. I believe that my colleague Janet is going to post a link in the chat for this. There's a lot of information in this book that's readily available to you. If you download it to your mobile device, you can have it with you everywhere you go. So there's a lot of information. And on the back of the book, there's our 1-800 number that you can contact us directly. On our website, if you search for calvet.ca.gov, this will come up as our homepage. And under the CalTAP banner, which is highlighted here where the laptop is, you click on the link and you can get information for some previously recorded webinars, as well as some upcoming webinars. And then you'll also see our pathways there that are listed on our CalTAP website. So if you click on the link that says archives, which are highlighted, it will take you to our recorded webinars. So how can you use CalTAP online? CalTAP is very user-friendly. If you go back to our webpage, to the CalTAP homepage here, and click on the core curriculum pathway, which is highlighted, this is going to focus on different modules that are self-paced, and you can click on these modules and go over these and provide overview and lesson plans on a variety of topics like healthcare, claims and compensation, protecting your benefits. But for today's purpose, I'm going to cover the overview, which covers Module 5, which is your California-specific benefits. So what are your California-specific benefits? In Chapter 1 of the Outreach book, page 13, it gives you a list of our links, which are highlighted here. There's the link locations and the counties that they cover, and it also gives information about what your California benefits are. One of the main biggest benefits that we get all the time is the college tuition fee waiver. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on this because Jana as well as Daniel are going to expand more on this, but I wanted to talk about what it is and how it works. The college fee waiver is for veterans' dependents if they have a service-connected disability rating of 0 to 100% from the federal VA, and the child wants to attend any state-funded school, their tuition would be waived. It's a great resource and it saves veterans over $35 million a year. Another popular program that we have is our DMV programs. You're eligible to have veterans designation put on your driver's license. We have honoring veterans license plates from the DMV, as well as motor vehicle registration fee waivers if you meet the eligibility requirements for your service-connected disability. Now, the honoring veterans license plates are selected specifically to honor veterans, and maybe you want to have your unit, your logo, or your branch of service on there. And these are fee-based license plates, but I want you to keep in mind that the fees incurred for these license plates don't go into the general fund for the DMV or the state. They actually go back into veteran services programs. So they're serving veterans as you pay for these license plates. There's also outdoor activities, which are really popular. If you have a service-connected disability rating of 50% or higher, you will be eligible for a fishing and hunting license at reduced annual fees. And also the state parks, you would receive a distinguished veterans pass with no cost to any state park system in the state of California. There's tax programs that may be eligible for. If you're a disabled veteran, you may be eligible for a property tax exemption or a tax exemption and fee exemption for a business license. And then there's also a disabled veteran business enterprise program where you can work and contract with the state of California if you own a business. I highly encourage you to check with your local city or county tax assessor's office to find out specifically what those tax programs are for your region. Calvet Home Loans is very popular. We have a great home loans program. Brad Pedersen, who is our home loans representative who speaks for us on our webinars, provides some information, and he likes to call it this great bucket of benefits where you combine your VA benefits with your California home loan benefits to get these veterans into a home. They have great financing for veterans and competitive interest rates, and you can also get low or no money down on some of these home loans. Calvet Women's Veterans is very popular. They provide information, advocacy, and outreach, as well as support to California women veterans. And they also partner with the California Women Veterans Leadership Council. And there's also on our website, there's a link where you can sign up for the women's roster. and you can receive information on the annual Women Veterans Reception, as well as any ongoing information on women veterans throughout the state. CalVet Minority Veterans also provides information and advocacy and outreach to support California minority veterans. They also help with unnaturalized veterans in California with citizenship and naturalization services. On our Minority and Veterans website, there's also a roster that you can sign up for to receive ongoing updates and information on activities throughout the year. Our CalVet homes for long-term care, we have 8 homes throughout the state of California for our veterans, and they provide long-term care for veterans for medical, dental, pharmacy, as well as rehabilitation and some really popular social activities. Hopefully they're beginning to, now that they've opened things up, to be able to get out and about and do some fun activities at the veterans homes. The 8 locations throughout the state are in Barstow, Chula Vista, Fresno, Lancaster, Redding, Ventura, West Los Angeles, and Yountville. We do have 3 state cemeteries for burial here in the state of California. One on the Central Coast at Seaside, the other's the Northern California Veterans Cemetery up in Igo near Redding, and then the third one is attached to the Yountville Veterans Home in Yountville. And they are very beautiful cemeteries as well, I might add. Some other common websites that you may be familiar with that we'd like you to understand are obviously the VA. The va.gov is a catch-all VA website where you can gain access to your healthcare, disability, records, or education. Another popular one is the eBenefits portal. This is, I highly encourage all veterans should have an eBenefits registration. This is a way for you not just to apply for benefits, but also to manage your benefits and your healthcare. This portal is really a great portal for you to do, especially during everything being done virtually. I know that the VA encourages everyone to go through this. You can actually check if you have a disability claim in process. You can look at the status of it. You can check on if you have disability payments, a payment history. So there's a variety of things, as well as registering for healthcare. And speaking of healthcare, if you do have healthcare, you can sign up for My Health eVet, which is a website that provides you information to your pharmacy. You can make appointments. You can send messages to your doctors, as well as you can upload and download health records from your treatment. So it's a really popular and good website for you to access. This is my contact information. This is our department's 800 number. If you call this, somebody will contact you back or answer the phone. Most likely it will be a live person. If it's not, somebody will contact you hopefully within that day or the next day. This is my email address. If you have any questions related to any of the topics or benefits that I've just provided to you, I know it was very quick, but I want to provide enough time for Daniel and Jana to provide the education resources for you going forward. We are going to contact or answer questions at the end. So if you do have a question, please post it in the chat. And now I'm going to turn it over to our link coordinator, Merlene Steinbeck, who is our Inland Empire link. Good morning, Merlene. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Kirk. Thank you so much. Yeah, as Kirk said, I am the local interagency network coordinator for the Inland Empire, and that covers Inyo, Mono, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. Next slide. So here is a look at the different local interagency network coordinators in our area. So as you can tell, I'm the big red area over here. Looks like kind of an obtuse triangle. We also on the line have our Central California link. She's that big purple area. And all of us do very, very well at networking within our communities. As you could tell, me and Annette would have vastly different issues. Hers large farming community, whereas mine's mostly desert and mountains. The geographical locations gives each district special issues for the veterans that reside there. And here in California, there are a lot of rural communities, and transportation becomes very difficult, at least in my area. Also would be the same type of issue with our Northern California veterans as well. And as you can tell, just based on the geographical locations, the issues that each veterans would face are different. If you take a look over there at the little orange section, that's Orange County. They have a highly urban and populated community, but just as many veterans in that area as in my entire district. So as you can see, each of us will have to create our own networks. And let me tell you a little bit more about our networks and how that helps our veterans. Next slide. So what we do is we do provide outreach to the service members, veterans, and their families, and we work directly with the established service providers and our network. And that could be anything from the federal VA to county agencies and local nonprofits as well. We also assist with local emergencies. So the fires we had recently, we had LIC, you would find a local interagency network coordinator on site. We also provide leadership and advocacy to the community. So any type of community meeting, you're gonna find a link there that's going to advocate for the CalVet and work directly with the veterans to assist them. Next slide. So some of our state agencies is like, for example, EDD and American Job Centers are. We also have contacts at the county agencies like the County Veteran Service Office, the healthcare centers, VA medical centers, the clinics, and vet centers. Next slide. If you do have any further questions or you need to get in contact directly with an agency, go ahead and get a hold of me. This is my contact information. You can reach out directly to me via phone or email, and I should be able to at least coordinate you to the local interagency network coordinator in your area if you weren't able to get that contact information off of the map. Go ahead and turn this back over to Kirk, and he will introduce our next speaker, Daniel.
Thank you very much, Marlene. We appreciate all that you do down there in the Inland Empire for our veterans. Thank you for joining us today. And now I'm going to turn it over to Daniel Vigalio, and he is the Director of Student Services at Sierra College. And he also runs the Veteran Resource Center, and he's going to provide some information on the landscape for California community colleges. Good morning, Daniel. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Kirk. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good to see everyone. Good morning, everyone. As Kirk mentioned, my name is Daniel. I'm currently the Director of Student Services at Sierra College. A little bit about my background. I served in the Marine Corps from 2004 to 2009. Went to the community college myself here in California. I was with 3rd Battalion, 8th Marines out of Camp Lejeune. I was an 0311 infantryman, deployed 3 times to Iraq myself and made that transition back. Next slide, Kirk. So right now I'm going to talk about the UCs, the CSUs, and also the community colleges real briefly. So in the state of California, we do have numerous university UCs. We call them UCs, from Davis to Berkeley to Santa Cruz. That we do have. All the community colleges have tag agreements with these institutions. So what that means is that you can work on your transfer requirements at the community colleges and then transfer as a junior into these colleges. And what that means by tag, it means that you're guaranteed transfer into the UC system, to that college of your choice that you're going into. So that's your opportunity to work with the counselor at the college that you choose, at the community college, and work with them to work on a tag agreement with the college that you want to go to if you're planning to transfer to a UC school. And with that tag agreement, they can work with you to kind of determine what classes you need to take prior to transferring to that college to meet the general ed requirements and also the transfer requirements to that UC school that you're looking to go into. So that's a great outcome for a lot of community colleges. Again, it's cheaper at the community colleges. I'll touch base on that a little bit later, but it's just an opportunity for you to kind of knock out all the general ed, knock out all the transfer requirements, and go into a UC school as a junior. Next slide, please. The same with the CSU system. We have 23 campuses. As I mentioned before, I did go to American River College, which is the local here in Sacramento, a community college, when I got out of the Marine Corps. But I did transfer over to Sac State, which is one of the 23 CSU colleges in the state of California. What I did there, it's similar to a tag agreement with the UCs. We have what's called AATs and ASTs. So Associates of Arts and Transfer and Associate of Science and Transfer. So with these agreements, these are, again, very similar to tag agreements. They allow you to transfer over to the CSU school that you're looking into. with a guaranteed transfer, but also getting your AA degree completed. So you're working on your AA requirements and also working on your transfer requirements at the same time. And then you are guaranteed a transfer to the CSU school of your choice that you're looking into. Now, you need to keep in mind, it's important, as I mentioned before, that you do work with your counselor at the colleges that if you plan on attending the community college, to make sure that all your requirements are aligned. Similar to if you're using your GI Bill benefits. You want to make the VA will only pay for courses that are within your major. And so you got to keep in mind that you need to make sure that you're connecting with a counselor, to make sure you're following all the requirements for you to transfer to the CSU system. To get that, to knock out all the general ed requirements, to knock out all the transfer requirements, so you're not having any issues or concerns come up on your end. And also keep in mind too, if you're using Chapter 33 or Chapter 35 benefits, which is for dependents, you do only have 36 months of benefits. So you do want to use your time wisely as far as making sure that you're navigating that. If you do plan on using your GI Bill benefits up front as you're going through the community college. Next slide, please. So here's a listing of all the community colleges here. It's a big list. So we have 116 community colleges in the state of California. I currently work at Sierra College, as I mentioned before, which is right out of the Sacramento area, about 20 minutes. But I do these presentations to kind of educate veterans and their family members and our military affiliated, which is our reservists, our National Guard, to make sure they kind of understand that community college is an option for them. It is cheaper to go to. There's a lot of community colleges in the state, as it is shown here. But I do want to make sure that I link you with the proper college that you're trying to look into. So I pretty much know all the point of contacts in the state of California from my work I do at the state level. So if you're in a certain area and you want information about a program, my contact information will be listed at the very end, and you guys please reach out to me. I will then connect you with the program that's close to you that has a really good program at their campus. Next slide. So this is the educational hierarchy. It kind of shows you what type of degrees you can get while you're going to school. So at the community college level, we do have vocational certificates and associate degrees. Then we, as I mentioned before, we have our tag agreements with the guaranteed transfers for the UCs. Then we also have the ASTs and AATs or AA degree that you can get at the community colleges. So the levels are different. So as it shows here, the community colleges, we have the AA degrees, we have the certificates. Some of our programs do have adult education learning systems for getting your GED there as well. And then as you transfer up, you look at the CSUs and UCs that have the bachelor's degrees, the master's degrees, and the doctoral programs. So definitely, as you're going through this, I would highly recommend, doing your own research and basically doing what you want to do. Figure out what you want to do and what you want to major in. Again, that's why at the colleges, I can't stress enough to work with your counselor that's assigned to you. So you guys can do I do a lot of what's called career advising. I know our counselors do that all the time. I use ONET. I use different resources to help the veterans to kind of determine what their career goals are, what type of major they have in mind for the future, and doing their research on what they want to transfer to. So it's very important that you do your own research when trying to seek out a program that would best fit your needs. So definitely take advantage of that and use the counselor at the community colleges if you plan to attend a community college to get all that information and those resources as you need. Knowledge is power. I transitioning out of the military myself, out of the Marines, I just got back from our 3rd deployment to Iraq, and I had no idea what I wanted to do as far as my major goes. It really took me to work with the counselor that really helped me navigate what I wanted to do in life following my career in the military. And that's where I determined I wanted to get a master's degree in counseling, and that's what I got. I ended up getting a master's degree in counseling. So doing your research is very important at this college that you're looking into, and take advantage of the community college. It's the best resource, I believe, out there for a lot of our vets and their family members. So again, you can transfer to a 4-year as a junior. Next slide, please. So again, these are kind of the unemployment rates and earnings by educational attainment. Again, as it's shown, and I've done this data research myself at my college, it's shown by having a degree or some type of certificate, you'll be more employable and actually get more pay. So these are kind of the numbers here. I won't go over them. You can definitely look at them once the slides kind of share with you. But it's important for you to kind of understand that. I know for me at my institution, a lot of our vets are in the type of trade school programs that we offer, like a welding program or mechatronics program. They're really looking to get those certificates, which are offered at a lot of community colleges, So that way they can expand their knowledge, also get certified so they can work in the field in those type of specialties. So we do offer those things. And again, it's another opportunity for you to kind of explore your options. And I can't, again, stress enough to work with the counselor to make sure they're aligning with what you want to do as far as your career goals and your educational goals. Next slide. So again, why community college? Provides time to determine career goals, $46 a unit, which is pretty cheap. We do offer what's called 2 years free, which is California College Promise. We do have CTE, short-term certificate programs, like I mentioned, welding, mechatronics, electrician. If you want to be an electrician, we offer these programs. So definitely do your research on the community colleges to see what they offer based off their catalog. You can go on to any community college website that's near you, and you can look up their programs through their college catalog. So if there's something that interests you there, that would be your opportunity to work with the counselor to kind of see what you want, saying that you want to pursue those goals. So definitely do your research on that. Check out those programs if you want to attend that community college local to you. And then also the transfer guarantee to the UCSC issue. I mentioned that already earlier in the slides. So next slide. Priority registration. So all veterans get priority registration. There are some guidelines in regards to that. So definitely work with the college that you're planning to transfer to make sure that you're eligible for priority registration. In-state tuition rates. We do have what's called VACA that was passed law a few years ago. So if you're coming in from out of state and you're within 3 years of your time period, which that should actually change August 1. So there's no time ruling around that. There's no delimiting date. In the past, it's been 3 years. If you are 3 years from your service out in the military, we can actually change over your rate to in-state. But that rule is changing. That law is changing to there's no delimiting date effective August 1. So definitely, if you're coming from out of state, work with the college to change over your residency. Usually that's through admission and records. But if not, your Veteran Resource Center, which I'm going to talk about next, should have the staffing there to help guide you as needed to make sure that we're making those changes as far as in-state tuition goes. And then, as I mentioned this right now, our Veteran Resource Centers, most of the community colleges have Veteran Resource Centers. The type of services that they offer through them vary amongst the colleges. So definitely, again, do your research on a school that offers great programming as far as its support for veterans. I know for my college, we have a very large Veteran Resource Center with fully staffed, with a full-time veterans counselor, multiple staff members and we have about a 2,000 square feet Veteran Resource Center. And what that is, it provides support for veterans, connection to the community, making sure that we're supporting veterans overall as a whole, addressing any concerns that come up, whether it's healthcare, mental health, resources that you need, emergency funding. So again, do your research at a college. Again, you can reach out to me, and I can definitely refer you to a local community college that has similar resources to my school. That way you can go to a good school on that and a good community college. I'd be more than happy to share that information with you. Next slide. So this is the community college website. If you Google the State Chancellor's Office website, it'll come up and you can search all the 116 community colleges. But again, I can be that resource for you as well. Knowing all the community colleges in the state, all the representatives that represent those community colleges, it was important for me to kind of share with other veterans as they're navigating this process of transitioning from the military over to college. So definitely this is a resource. You can check this out if you want more information. There's a lot of information about around data around the colleges on this website, but definitely, you can do your own research on your end to make sure that you find a school that fits your needs and has a programs that you're looking for or certificates that you're looking for. So that way you're attending a school that's keeping your interests in mind and you're pursuing what you want to pursue. Next slide. Again, all CSUs, UC campuses accept transfer students and offer priority admissions to all students. So definitely for veterans, it's a lot simpler process because a lot of the CSUs and UCs do have Veteran Resource Centers set up and are willing to kind of support veterans with that transition. But again, at the community college level, it's working with the community college team as far as a counselor and a Veteran Resource Center staff to make sure you're connecting with the proper resources, you're following the right educational plan, and they're preparing you to transfer. So that's the main goal that I see that I tell my team to make sure we're focusing on those issues with our veterans and addressing any concerns that come up. So that way we can help move them along their process as far as attaining their degree and transferring, and also conserving their GI Bill. Because again, I can't stress enough that you do have only 36 months of benefits. And you want to make sure that you're using that time wisely whenever you're using GI Bill. Next slide. The transfer process, again, completing an associate's degree for transfer at a community college, or you complete a tag agreement. Again, working with your counselor in that 4-year institution and make sure that you're lining your goals up as far as meeting the general ed requirements and also the transfer requirements for that college. And then when you transfer, you'll be completing your 4-year degree as far as obtaining your bachelor's degree. But again, once you're at the 4-year level, as far as whether it's a UC or CSU, making sure that you're working with the counselor there as well, that you're following, or the chair of that department, in most cases, are working with advising at that college, at the transfer levels, transfer school, then make sure that you're completing all the transfer requirements to complete your degree there at the transfer school, whether it's a UC or CSU. Next slide. Again, some more helpful information here. Again, CCC Apply, Cal State Apply. These are all great resources for you to check out if you want more information. But again, do your research on these things. It's important that you select the school that offers the program you want. So that way you're looking into, you're actually using your benefits wisely, like I mentioned. I keep on saying that because there's so many veterans that I work that come to my college and they're struggling and they're not following a plan like they should be. So we really have to do a lot of work with them to make sure they're following their plan, and working with them to kind of figure out what they want to do with their next steps in life. So again, do your own research on the school in advance, so that way you won't have that issue, and you find a school that would fit your needs, and so that way you can work on your career goals on that end, as far as obtaining your degree and transferring if that's your option. I will say this though, most of our veterans do transfer. A lot of them do obtain their AA degree, and they want to transfer to a 4-year institution right away once they complete that. Next slide. This is my contact information. Again, if you're not in the Sacramento area and you want to find a school that helps support you, please reach out to me. Lastly, I will say this: please apply for financial aid. A lot of veterans don't know that they can get financial aid on top of their GI Bill. Now, what ends up happening is that when financial aid actually you submit your documents, if you're fresh getting out of the military and they say that you make too much money, they have what's called a special circumstance form that you can fill out with financial aid, because that income they're looking at was income from the previous year. For the upcoming year, you won't have that income anymore. So by doing this special circumstance form, that will make you eligible for financial aid. And when I say financial aid, there's 2 different types. There's loans and there's Pell Grant. Loans is money that you have to pay back. Pell Grant is not. So when I was transitioning out, I never applied for financial aid at all, because I thought that was more of a loan that I had to pay back money, and that was not the case. It was just additional monies that I would get to help support my education. So you can get that on top of your GI Bill. So take advantage of that, because that's more funding for you and your family. If you do have family, to help support you and your family as you're going through college at the community college level. And you can also use financial aid when you transfer. So when I transferred to the CSU to Sac State, I had financial aid on top of my GI Bill as well, because remember, your service-connected disability and also your GI Bill is non-taxable income, so you don't have to include that on the financial aid application. So keep that in mind as a resource, as well as to make sure that you apply for financial aid and take advantage of that as well, on top of using your GI Bill. But again, we'll have questions at the very end, but this is my contact information. If you need to reach out to me, please do, and then I'll connect you with the community college that's local to your area that I know that has a great program to make sure that you're getting the resources that you need if you do plan on attending the community college. But that's it. That's all I have. I hope you're all doing well. Kirk, I'll turn it over back to you.
Daniel, that was awesome. Thank you very much. That was a lot of information, and we really appreciate you providing that resource for all the veterans and family members in attendance today. So like Daniel said, here's his contact information. We'll also have another slide towards the end with his contact information when we go through the questions. So if you don't get this one, you'll have another opportunity at the end. Thank you, Daniel. We'll talk at the Q&A. Now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Jana Adams, who's going to talk about educational benefits and some tips and tricks and best practices on how to use your GI benefits for your education purposes. Jana.
All right. Thanks so much, Kirk. Again, thanks, Daniel, too. That was a lot of really great information. And I might touch on a couple different things that Daniel was saying, too. But this is all just really great info for you guys. And I'm so excited to be here to be able to hopefully give you guys new information. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask us via email later or phone call, or even during while we're talking in the chat. So next slide, please. All right, so as Kirk mentioned earlier before, all of our information in our pathways can be found right on our website. So you just Google CalVet, you click on the icon that says CalTAP under the laptop picture icon, and then you get to our modules. So if you click on the education pathway, this is what you're going to see. Next slide, please. So you're going to see 5 different modules in here. It's going to be lots of information within these modules. The first one is going to give you information about different schools. This is going to be information such as whether they offer a veterans preference, whether they participate in the Yellow Ribbon program, things like that. The second module is going to be a basic overview of the California educational benefits. And then the other 3 modules are going to give you more of the, oh, my dog Mac, he totally agrees with this. It's going to give you more of that focus on the structure of the higher education system here in California and the resources that they're going to be able to offer you. Things like academic or admission requirements, maybe deadlines and timelines, things like that. So I'm going to go over much of these benefits here in a very short period of time, but please know that you can find all this information either right online or you can find it in the Veterans Resource Book that Kirk mentioned. And I also put the link to that in the chat, and I'll put it in the chat again during our question and answer session when I'm not presenting anymore. But please know that all this information is out there for you too, or if you need more clarification, definitely give us a call or send us an email. Next slide, please. So we'll go ahead and get started. You are probably already familiar with the GI Bill, which grants 36 to 48 months of education benefits to eligible veterans who are seeking either an undergraduate degree or graduate degree, credentials, or maybe on-the-job training. If you want more information on the specifics of these, I know Daniel had mentioned them too. I'm more than happy to go over more details with you later. Next slide, please. Okay, the Forever GI Bill. We get lots and lots of questions about this. I'm kind of going to go over more of a snapshot details on this, but again, if you have more questions, please reach out to us. So as long as you separated from active duty after 2013, you're able to take advantage of the Forever GI Bill. There used to be that 15-year limit of when you could use it, but now that's no longer the case. So if you are a Purple Heart recipient, you're eligible for your whole benefit package, regardless of your length of service. And the GI Bill is also going to help restore lost benefits to students who may have had to experience a school closure. We've actually received phone calls or from students who have literally gone to campus back when more campuses were open, of course, but and there was just a note on the door saying that campus is closed, sorry. So it's really important to do a lot of research on wherever you're going to be applying and spending your money, your earned money and your earned benefits on. Unfortunately, there are institutions out there who will prey on veterans. So we are trying to give you information to prevent that from happening. And if you're ever unsure about a school or something like that, or unsure about what they're talking about, or maybe unsure about their requirements, you can always call us to ask. If we don't know the answer, we should be able to direct you to somebody that will. Next slide, please. So the amount of benefits have been increased for our veterans who have less than 12 months of active service. And something that's really great about this is that it expands the education benefits if you're pursuing a STEM degree. And this is because you'd be taking more classes for the STEM degrees because it's going to take you longer to graduate. Next slide, please. So if you are going to pursue a STEM major and have completed at least 60 units, you can apply for that. And I'm going to read it all out. The Science, Technology, Engineering, Math, or STEM scholarship. This is going to provide you up to 9 months of post benefits. I believe that there's about a $30,000 maximum on this. And there is a priority entitlement to those of you that have 100% of your GI Bill entitlement. This cannot be transferred to your dependents, and it also can't be matched with the Yellow Ribbon program. So if you have any further questions on this or want more clarification, please reach out to us on this. Next slide, please. Okay, so I want to go over a little bit of the utilization of benefits. And I also kind of want to give you some tips and tricks on effectively using your benefits. We know that it takes a minimum of 120 credits to obtain a bachelor's degree, and that's not including all of the remedial courses or maybe repeat courses that may not apply to getting your degree. So if a student veteran were to enroll in the minimum units required, that would consider you full-time, and that's 12 units in the fall, 12 units in the spring, and 6 units in the summer. Your GI Bill would only cover 116 units total. So this means that the veteran would need to come out of pocket to cover the rest of the academic program. So we want to give you guys just a little bit of tips and tricks on the next couple slides, just to kind of expand that, and also maybe give you some strategies before you start school. Next slide, please. So tip 1 would be to take more than 12 units per semester. And by taking more than 12 units, maybe possibly by taking 15 units per semester, you're going to make the same amount of BAH as you would as 12 units. However, you won't be charged for more than the full-time rate, which is great. This means that every time you certify either full-time, 3/4 time, or half-time, you're basically being charged all of those months. So if you go for more than 12 units, you're not charged for more than 12 units, if that makes sense. So next slide, please. Okay, so tip 2 is consider certifying at a 3/4 time. And what we mean by this is if you certify at 3/4 time or only take 9 units, even though you're taking 12 units, if you only certify for 9 units, you're only being charged 3/4 of that time. So a program at the community college, let me back up. So if you only get 3/4 of your BAH, but you can utilize another program to maybe help you with that other quarter of time, that will supplement you. That's going to stretch out your benefit a little bit longer. So by using a program such as the California Promise, that's offered at the community college level, this is a form of financial aid that could help you in stretching that benefit just a little bit longer. Something else that could help you out would be FAFSA, and we'll go over a couple of those a little bit later in the presentation as well. Next slide, please. So tip 3 would be to participate in a work study program. And this is something that Daniel actually did. So if you have more questions about this, you could always ask him. You could ask one of us on the CalTAP team. Some of us have experience with that as well, but it's a really great program. Next slide, please. The work study program is going to pay federal or state minimum wage to perform VA-related duties. So, for example, if you wanted to work at a county veteran service office, or maybe at the VRC on your campus, that would be counted. And this is a really great program because it's going to give you experience that you wouldn't normally get doing VA functions. It's going to give you on-the-job training, which is always a great thing. And they're also going to be more flexible with you. Your supervisors will, because they're going to know that you're there for your education. You're there for school. So, gosh, I need to plug my computer in here. There we go. Sorry about that. So it's a really, really great. It'd be really great to participate in a work study. This is also going to offset the cost of this could offset the cost of your remaining 3/4 as well. A good thing to know is that BAH is it is not paid in between semesters. So on that break. So it's prorated from the time that you actually start your classes until the semester actually ends. So for example, if your semester starts the last week of this month, you're only going to get paid for that week of time. You're only get BAH for that week of time. So you want to plan ahead for that, and doing a work study could definitely supplement that. Next slide, please. So our tip 4 would be to talk about a withdrawal versus getting an F. And there actually is a difference between that. Next slide. If you're not sure what the differences are, it would be a withdrawal versus earning that failing grade, basically. So if you drop a class that you have started taking, This may bring you from that full-time level down to 3/4 time. So you want to be careful with that if you're going to withdraw from a class, because then the school's only going to certify you for 3/4 of a time. So you will not get that full BAH. However, if you take a class and you earn that failing grade, it's not going to affect that BAH stipend. However, it might set you back in your GPA though. So you might have to extend taking a couple extra classes. So if you were in a situation where you think you might either want to withdraw from a class because maybe with different circumstances you don't think you'll be able to pass, we recommend actually talking it over with a counselor on campus first and going over your options, whether it would be worth it to either withdraw or maybe stay in school, stay in the class to get that F. And if you have further questions or want more details, please talk to us about that too. Next slide. So tip 5, one of our favorite tips, which is why we save it for the last, is using the Veteran Resource Center. We call them VRCs too, if you've heard it that way. Next slide, please. This is just a beautiful picture of what a VRC could look like. Nice and cozy, lots of places to sit, and lots of places to have quiet time too. But the VRC is a place where you can unplug from, from different get veteran services. You can go and do your homework in there. You can talk to who's ever working in the VRC about questions relating to education. Like I said, the people working in the VRC are typically counselors in there that are there to help you. There's computers, there's printers in there. Hopefully these VRCs are going to be open again once campuses reopen, if they're not already at the campus you're attending. And also it's kind of a place just to go and relax and just kind of hang out for a little bit and maybe, zone out for a little bit. People will say, you go for the coffee, but you stay for the camaraderie, and which is so true. It's really great to go to these VRCs too and meet new people. You're going to meet new contacts. You never know maybe who has a contact and that knows somebody that works for a company that maybe you want to go into that, that company or that kind of work one day. So it's always great to meet new people and get contacts. And it's also kind of nice to see other veterans because they're probably having the same questions as you, maybe going through the same struggles as you, and hitting the same milestones as you too. So it's nice to find people that you relate to make you more comfortable. Next slide, please. Okay, so we talked a little bit about maybe getting some financial assistance a little bit earlier. I mentioned a couple of these, so I want to briefly go over a few of them. But so FAFSA is a form of financial aid. It stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid, and it's a program that you are able to apply for. If you have more questions on that, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. It's a great program. The California Promise, I mentioned that earlier, but it was previously referred to as the BOG fee waiver. The best way to describe if you're eligible for it is if you can receive financial aid, you should be eligible for the California Promise. There are also tons of scholarships out there and available to you. You have to do research on it. Talk to your counselors, ask them about scholarships. Search online. You can just Google scholarships available to me. You can also call us too. We may have some resources for you that we can get you hooked up with as well. I know in my experience, I applied for tons and tons of scholarships online, and I got a lot of very small scholarships just by writing different essays on my different experiences, my background, different jobs I've had, what I want to do with my future, and all those different scholarships that I got like $100 here, $500 here, $75 here, but I was able to pay for my first 2 years of community college. It was completely paid for. It was a little bit cheaper when I went. It was about half the cost of a unit when I went, probably dating myself, but I was able to get the whole thing paid for. And that was just by doing some research and spending some time and writing a lot of essays. But it was really worth it. I got scholarships. So they are out there for you. And by getting scholarships, that's going to extend your benefits. So always a great idea. Next slide, please. Oh, you know what? We didn't go over the yellow ribbon program. If you want to go back, I'm so sorry. So the yellow ribbon program is designed to offset the cost of a higher than in-state tuition. So if a dependent, so if this is designed for private institutions, something like that are very expensive. And kind of the way it basically works is you're going to have an agreement with the VA where they're going to say what the cost is, and they're going to cover some of that cost, or they'll match some of that cost with what it's covering. I do know that there is about a $24,000 cap on that. So you'll want to do your research on what it's going to cover, but it's a really, really great program. If you have any more questions, please reach out to us. Okay, so a question that we get all the time is on one of our best benefits that we offer, and this is the college tuition fee waiver for veteran dependents. And you may all have dependents that may be eligible to utilize this. And what this basically does is this is going to waive tuition for dependents at any California community college, any state school, or any UC with a veteran that has a service-connected disability. So the service connection can range from 0 to 100. You basically just need to have one. If you have further questions on that, we're more than happy to answer those. A really fun fact about this is that the veteran does not have to live in California, just the dependent does. They must be a California resident. And if you are not already a California resident, you would want to find out what the requirements are of the school directly. And you can always call us to get that information or point you in the right direction of how to find that. Remember that this is your dependent's benefit to use, but you still have to authorize the entitlement and sign off on it. Next slide, please. Okay, so this again is a snapshot in the Veterans Resource Book. This is on page 120, and this goes over the different plans that the college fee waiver has for veteran dependents. There's 4 different plans, and everything is all laid out for you. If you have further questions, again, please call us, talk to one of the counselors in the VRC. We're more than happy to go over any of this with you. Next slide, please. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about ScholarShare 529. This is something that was created by the state of California as a tax advantage way to help families kind of offset the cost of higher education. And we want to share this resource for you because there are so many costs that are associated with attending school. Things like room and board, books, computers, lab fees, transportation even, things that the college fee waiver and that, that they don't cover. So this is a really great way to start saving early. And we want to just give you just some basic information on it. And if you have further questions, you can always call us. So next slide, please. So we're kind of giving you guys 10 reasons of why to use a ScholarShare 529, or 10 reasons on why to do some more research on it. This is easy and convenient. It's something that can be done completely online. You can sign up from wherever you live, of course. The savings are going to grow due to the tax advantage. So it's just going to keep growing every year. You can use this fund or this money towards any sort of school. It doesn't matter if it's a trade school, anything like that. And it can be used for more than just tuition. As long as it is school related, you can use it for that. So because of that, that you can use it for anything and it's going to grow due to the tax advantage, there's a lower impact on financial aid and other savings plans. Next slide, please. So also opening an account is super affordable. It's super easy. You can open it up with any dollar amount. You can open it up with $1 if you want. You can open it up with $100 if you want. And anyone can contribute. So this is a great way to have, grandparents and other extended relatives or friends that want to maybe give, some sort of holiday gift or birthday gift or graduation gift or anything like that. They can be contributing to this. Now, unused funds can be used for any other member of your family. So if the child that you had originally thought was going to use this fund doesn't end up using it for whatever reason, you can then transfer this to somebody else, as long as they are considered a member of or an eligible member of your family. Let's see what else. The ScholarShare 529 provides a variety of professionally managed investment portfolios that you can choose from. So there's lots of different investment flexibility there. And when you or anyone else makes a contribution, it may qualify for an annual tax exclusion of $15,000 per year for single filers and possibly $30,000 a year for couples. There are eligibility requirements to that you need to look up, but it is a really, really great benefit. So it's definitely something that we recommend. Next slide, please. If you want more information on this, this gentleman, Aaron, he has lots of great info and he knows lots more details than I know as well. Something personal about this, I've started one for both my kids, and it's been growing every year. So it's been something that's been kind of fun to watch. And while I'm not contributing a ton every single month, I am contributing every month, and I know it's definitely going to be a great benefit for both of my kids if they decide to go to school. Next slide, please. So I know that was a lot of information all in a short period of time. If you guys have any questions, this is my contact info. When you call that 800 number, you're going to get either one of our CalTAP team members or one of our links. One of us will actually answer the phone, so you can always contact us with information. And then all of our contact information will be on the next slide as well. I'm going to turn things back over to Kirk now. Or I guess kind of go back and forth to us anyway because of the
yeah questions. we're gonna cover the questions and answers now.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I understand that is a lot of information to throw in a short amount of time period. So thank you everybody for your patience and understanding. And if you do have questions, please, this is now the opportunity time to put it in the chat. And Daniel and Merlene and Jana and I, we will try our best to get the answer to you on what your question is. Please know that if we don't have the answer readily available to you, we will take your information or at least contact us in a way that we can get back with you to provide the correct answer to you on whatever your needs are. With that, I'll open it up. What do we have, Jana?
So I was just going to say, we don't have any questions. And then a question just popped up. Okay. So the question is, what happens if you save money in the college fund? Oh, and then, oh, wait, hold on one second here. Oh, a couple just swirled in. Okay. Oh gosh, sorry. The other one came in. Okay. What happens if you save money in the college fund and then no child decides to study? So you can transfer it to, I know you can transfer it to any other member of your family that's eligible. Mm-hmm. Now, that's a really great question. I would need to do a little bit of research on, unless, I don't know if Daniel, you know the answer to this. I don't know how much you know on this program, but I'm not sure if the benefit does not get used at all, what would happen with it or what you can do with it.
They're talking about the transfer entitlement, chapter 33. Is that what they're asking about?
No, this is actually, I believe this is on the ScholarShare 529, the college fund that you can set up for a child. That's not, while that is not a Calvet specific benefit, it is a benefit that's out there that we like to talk about.
I'm going to go back to Aaron Lester. Take his information down. He's the expert on this. Mm-hmm. And then he can answer. He's actually works for the Treasurer State of California. Right. So they're the expert on this. Reach out to them, contact them, and let them give the correct answer. We're not tax preparers. We don't know a lot of the tax liabilities of that kind of information. So I'd rather have somebody like that. If they can take this information down, contact them.
Okay, the next question I have, if you already have an associate's degree, can you use the GI Bill to get another one, or do you have to work towards a bachelor's?
No, you can, it's your benefit. So if you want to go back to the community college, go back to school and get another associate's degree or certificate program, that's completely fine. But keep it, like I said, it is your benefits to use. So you can always go back and get another AA degree.
Okay. Does my daughter need to get a verification of non-filing letter from both the IRS and California financial or FTB tax board?
You know, it depends. So definitely work with your local financial aid office to determine the documentation. If you want to email me, if you want a more in-depth answer, I could definitely ask my financial aid director, who I work hand in hand with, and I can get you a more direct answer. But definitely, it depends on the financial aid office and what the requirements are. To connect with them right away, but email me if you need more further verification. I'll be more than happy to get the answer for you right away. Because each case is different. I would say
Yeah,
that.
I was going to say each case is different.
Right.
Yep. And thank you for being so available, Daniel. Okay, the next question would be, can veterans with a bachelor's degree enroll at a UC or CSU schools with priority?
It depends on their requirements. So whenever you reach out to that UC or CSU, they want to evaluate your transcripts to determine the courses there. In most cases, I've seen veterans that have already degrees get the priority registration as well. But you want to connect with the Veterans Center there at the college, at the CSU and the UC. They'll do all the steps for you. They will just need to evaluate your transcripts to determine where you're at as far as what program you want to pursue. So it's important to connect with them, and they'll walk you through the steps where that's required and let you know if you are going to be eligible for priority. But in most cases that I've seen in my time in higher ed, they always do get it.
The VRC is an unlimited resource, and I mean I can't emphasize that enough to these veterans that are looking to attend school. They can help you out in more ways than you realize, not just on your education and your transcripts and just those little nuances, Daniel, that you need. Oh, well, where's this located out on campus? Right. Or where do I need to go? Just those everyday questions. It's a great resource. The Veterans Resource Center is huge.
Yeah. All right. The next question is, does the Yellow Ribbon program cover studies towards a second bachelor's degree?
It depends on the college that they're offering Yellow Ribbon, because it's about a match and match. So the VA will actually match a certain amount of money on top of the Yellow Ribbon program. So in most cases, I would say yes. Again, but it depends on you working with the school that you want to go to and seeing what that is as far as if they offer Yellow Ribbon. In this case, for community colleges, there's no community colleges that are Yellow Ribbon school. In a lot of cases, it's most of the time, it's more of like a private school, university that usually has a Yellow Ribbon program. But for the community colleges, your tuition, all of it will be paid for. But you're talking about more of a bachelor's level degree. Is working with that school that you're planning to transfer to. You can always use it's your benefit to use, but it just depends on how much they're willing to offer as far as the Yellow Ribbon program goes, as the cost goes. So definitely connect with that school. Have them evaluate your transcripts as well, and also connect with the resources there to make sure that to determine what amount they cover as far as the Yellow Ribbon program goes.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yes, it sure is. Okay, the next question is, I am 100% service connected and on Social Security disability. Can I use my GI Bill, or do I have to let go of my Social Security first?
That's I don't think I can answer that, because it depends on what your requirements for SSDI is. Yeah. As far as the income amounts, because they may use your GI Bill monies for your income, because I know you have to be at a certain income. So I would talk to SSDI, determine if you're able to go back and if it impacts you with the income as far as the GI Bill goes. But if you have GI Bill still right now, you could go back to school, but I'm afraid that the impact it has on SSDI. So definitely look into that before you even make that decision, and do that research and work with the Social Security to see if that's going to be impactful as far as them and your income in regards to the BH that you receive as far as your benefits goes for the GI Bill.
Okay, that's really great information. So the next question is, another one popped up, so this moved. Hold on one second. Okay, has the work study pay moved to $15 per hour in California?
They go by the highest wage as far as California or the federal level. So it is pretty high now as far as because I currently have 4 VA work study working for me, and they receive that wage right now, I believe. But the way that VA work study they look at the highest wage as far as federal state level is for them to pay out. So I'll say that it is getting pretty high up, and it should match out what the requirements are as far as minimum wage goes.
Okay. Now, does CalVet have any work study positions available for fall of 2021? You know, I haven't heard of any openings for any work studies. And that would be something I imagine that would be posted on our website if something was available. I haven't seen any come out. And I don't know if that's due to, you know, people working from home and, you know, things getting, trying to figure all that stuff out. But if any open positions do come out, they'll come up on our website. So, but as of now, I don't know any that are available.
And there's always other sites that offer VA work study. Like the vet centers throughout the state, they provide mental health counseling for veterans and their families. They always are looking for VA work studies. Check out the colleges that you're going to. They always are looking for VA work studies. And there's other nonprofits that are the approved sites for VA work study. They're out in the community. I know the public libraries in the state of California, they have work study programs at their libraries. So there's various sites outside of Calvet, outside the colleges, that do offer VA work study. So definitely if you want to look into that around your area, it's an opportunity for you to kind of check those out, because it's not, there's so many different areas, sites that offer VA work study on that.
I just put Calvet's HR jobs link in the chat, so you can look and see if there's any jobs posted for our department from there.
Can the STEM scholarship be used towards a certificate in a STEM discipline? Oof.
I would have to research that even further.
Yeah.
Because
I think it's only good for an undergraduate degree.
Yeah, that's my understanding too, is the undergraduate degree. But I can research it even further. Reach back out to me and I'll connect to figure out, because that's somewhat new, and we're still navigating that with the VA as far as the STEM scholarship goes, and what's approved or not. So definitely connect with me and I can do some research for you and provide you with that information.
I wonder if that's like if they're asking for a professional certification for their major, you know, like an engineering certification or something of that nature. Yeah, because they do cost. There are fees involved with those certifications.
I am just scrolling through. Yeah, you know, I don't see any other questions. I am going to post, I'm posting the resource book right now. I don't see any other questions.
I did have one directed to me that
great.
They asked if for the CalVet fee waiver, if multiple dependents can use it, and that's yes.
Yes.
So I've seen whole families that have like 5 come in with the CalVet fee waiver to our college and use it, and it's a great benefit for you to use, because you can use it at the community college and you can also use it at the UCs and CSUs. So definitely it's a benefit they can use for multiple of your dependents.
Okay, there's one from Kim. Do you have to use your Chapter 35 benefits consecutively for 36 months?
You know, there's gaps of time. You know, there are age requirements if it's your kids using it. For the spouse, you know, they have the months. So I have seen dependents take breaks, like a semester off, and come back. So it does not have to be consecutive. But there are age requirements that you need to make sure that you understand those requirements and maintain those age requirements. But you don't have to consecutively use it, just like your post 9/11 GI Bill. I've seen veterans take like a whole year off to come back and use it. So it doesn't have to be consecutively used. But you need to just make sure that you're within the time frame to use the benefit, though.
Also added on to that, if they are a dependent and they're using Chapter 35 benefits, they can actually use the fee waiver congruently with Chapter 35 under Plan B. They can't use it under Plan A, but they can use Chapter 35 with Plan B, which would fall under the earning limit of roughly about $13,000 a year, so that the threshold, they would have to comply with that to be eligible.
Yeah, good point, Kurt. Thank you.
Okay. This next question, it's not education related, but very important. How can we get hard copies of the CalVet resource book? Very important question.
I'll post the link in the chat, okay?
Yeah. What did you say, Kirk? I'm sorry.
I will post the link in the chat for them to access the publications page.
Yeah. You go on our website and you basically put your email address in there and you can sign up for it. And then we have a new version that I'm pretty sure they're all printed. So they're going to be all sending out all the new versions moving forward. But if you don't want to download that PDF, that is, I know it's a pretty big file, but save it on your desktop if you can, or in your phone. I don't know if you want to save it on your phone, but it is really like gold. It's such a great book. But Kirk has just posted that right now. So
right. And, I want to add, I use, when I first got out of the military, I didn't realize the resources, so I started researching my own. Everything that's mentioned, e-benefits, the state park pass, I have all that. I use My Healthy Vet, I use e-benefits, everything that Kirk mentioned earlier, I've used in some shape or form as time has went on with me knowing what those benefits are. So I would say, please take advantage of those benefits if you're eligible for them, because it will be beneficial for you and your family.
And I mean, you make a really great point on that, Daniel. And that's kind of the whole goal of our CalTAP program, is that we are going to provide you guys benefits that you're going to need now, but then we're also providing you guys benefits that you don't need now, that maybe you're going to need in 10 years or 20 years or 25 years, or your kids are going to need. So we're always going to continuously be here for you and providing that information. So yeah. And here's another question, and we'll take a couple more questions. I know it's a little bit later than the webinar is supposed to go, but how long does it take to get an approval once the CVSO has all the proper documents from the veteran and the dependent?
I've seen it happen pretty quickly. Normally, what I see happen, this is in regards to the calvet fee waiver, I've seen them walk out the office with the form in a lot of cases, and they would just need to present that to the Veteran Resource Center, and normally it goes to financial aid to make sure that we're getting that information into the school for the fee waiver. But I've seen it a very quick process where, because I work with our Placer County DSO all the time, and normally it's just once the veteran's in, they meet the eligibility requirements as far as the application goes for the dependent. It's usually in and out, and they'll have the form with them normally when they walk out. That's why I've also seen DSOs mail the letters to the community colleges or the CSUs or UCs as far as the letters go. But definitely, I've seen a quick turnaround as long as you have the proper documentation and you are eligible for the calvet fee waiver. I've seen them walk out of the office with it and literally come in that same day to the Veterans Center to turn the document over to us.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, I think it depends on the county veterans office,
right?
And how, I know that when my daughter used the one here in Roseville and Placer County, they were really good about keeping this stuff on file. So recurrently going over every semester when they have to go back in and bring in your earnings for every other semester, they already had all the other stuff on file. My information, my award letter, all of that stuff, they keep that on file. Her birth certificate stuff, once it was established, she just had to update the earnings stuff every semester. So they were good that way. And they were quick with getting the letter out so she could take it to the Learning Institute.
Okay, another question came in. Can we download the chat at the end of the meeting? You mean you guys want all this information? So I don't think you guys can download the chat, but we can. So if you want to send your email address, or you can email, you see Kirk and my email address on there directly, but you can also always email CalTAP at that calvet.ca.gov, and it's CALTAP. You can always email that too, but if you send your email address, we'll get you the whole copy of this, or you can go from the start to finish and just copy and paste onto a Word document too. That's always, that's probably what it will look like when we download it. So, but we can
and it's being recorded too. So you can actually go back on our website to the archived pages, and when it's posted on our website, you can watch the whole video or fast forward through to a location if you need some information.
Yeah. So, and then there's, always I copy and paste everything, I feel like. So, but we can certainly get that too if you just email us in the chat. So I think we are all done with questions. I know Kirk has a couple more things to go over, and if any other questions come in, I will certainly interrupt you to let you know.
Okay, great. Okay, so thank you all for your questions. We appreciate that, and don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any more coming up after the fact. We do have some upcoming webinars throughout the rest of this month and going into July. Just take note of the date and then what the topic is. And if you go to the archives page on our website to look at the recorded documents, you can also see a list of upcoming webinars that we have there. Or you can also go to our Eventbrite page and see what's published and ready to register on upcoming webinars as well. We have a lot of them coming up on, I know, some employment pathways. And then also there's going to be follow-ups for exploring California state universities as well as the UC system, piggybacking off of the community college coming up next week and the following week. And with that, I want to get ready to close. I want to thank all of our presenters, Daniel and Merlene and Jan. I want to thank you all for participating with us today and providing this valuable information and resource to all of our veterans. But first and foremost, I want to thank all of the attendees for joining us today, and thank you all for your service. We appreciate you. We are here for you. If you have any questions and you need to reach out to any one of us, please don't hesitate to contact us, and we will get you the information that you need. Again, thank you all for joining us. Here is our contact information for our department. And we also have a Facebook page if you are interested in that. And please don't hesitate to reach out to that. And then Janet also posted in the chat one last final time our Survey Monkey. Please take the time. We appreciate your feedback. Fill out this survey and we can do take this data and this information to make our webinars more informative to you on what your needs are. With that being said, I'll sign off and close, and thank you again for your service. Have a great, wonderful the rest of your day. Goodbye, everybody. Take care.